is also part of this. So this whole ecosystem we have to really analyze. Many projects get into difficulties either because of lack of investments, lack of improper regulations. Probably if the growth is not there, then the investments don't come really, or the planning is faulty, or there could be environmental issues. So if one is developing a, Joseph has used a word maritime constituency, which is similar, which talks of, we have to look at from a larger perspective, not from a narrow perspective, for developing this. In fact, we have been, as a firm, we've been involved in developing maritime cities along the coast. We have projects with us. So where one is talking of not only ports but shipyards, the connectivity on the rail side, road side, development of offshore structures, and all that in one single location. And if you look at, let's say, Singapore as a city, I mean, it has everything. It's Asia's largest port. It has a very large shipbuilding, ship repair unit, industry. It has the very large services sector, finance, in just a 629 square kilometer. So we've been talking that why don't we develop conclaves like that all along India, which are self-sufficient, and these are like maritime cities, the large cities which could really come up. If you look at Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, they are maritime cities, and that's how the whole cities grew over a span of 200 years. Can we do it in 20 now? I mean, these are some of the things, and there we have to really look at from an ecosystem point of view. Yeah. So these are the panelists I've already introduced. Mr. Rajiv Gupta was to join last evening. He told me he won't be able to make it. Mr. Srinivas, I think Greenpeace should be joining anytime. Yeah. So the idea is to have a faster and more inclusive growth for all the stakeholders, environmentalists, government, fund managers, development of ancillaries, support systems, in and around that. So we feel over the next 15-20 years, if we can develop another 10-15 maritime clusters where all along China's growth development has taken place through the development of their maritime sector and consequent industries. So maritime-led industrial growth would be very logistically much more efficient than the hinterland base. Yeah. These are the stakeholders we've discussed: environment, government, investors, private players, corporates, consortia, foreign, local, all of them, they are the stakeholders. There is a talk of almost 1 lakh crores in maritime sector. Almost a lot of it has to come from private sector. The number is actually much bigger. This is probably the port sector investment, around 1 lakh. The overall maritime sector will be much bigger. So the idea is to bring the multiple stakeholders together. Yeah. Now we're going to give you some statistics. Being a research and consulting firm, we have access to a lot more latest data on what is really happening across each of the sectors in India. So we will just try to compare world and China. You can see China is a very large percentage of the overall world, the second column. Though it was very small earlier, it was less than 1%, and now it's probably more than 20% of the total world. This thing. The growth rates in China, if you look at this particular table, is close to almost 30%. If you look at last 20 years of growth rate, last 5 years is around 20%. While in India, if you see, the growth rate seems to be accelerating, and we feel that India-China will merge going forward. So there is a lot of, this is for the container goods, the volumes are going to increase substantially, the way China grew in the last 10 years or so. This is all the terminals which are coming up. We try to compile a list and create the capacity. So there are huge capacities coming on the container terminal space, and this is our own estimates for various terminals which are coming and how they will be going forward. Now these are the logistics player in India who are into different air, road, sea, rail. These are the companies and where all they participate. So it's a matrix developed for that. Now this is the port traffic, and we have compiled the last year's traffic because major port traffics were available, but the non-major ports we talked to them and got the total traffic. So that's roughly around 712 million tons, which means a growth rate of around 10%. So if you see the growth rate is accelerating, from 70s onwards, and so this growth means in 10% growth means in around 7 years we will double. So around 14 years will become 4 times. So let's say 2022 we will be will become very big.
Mr. Srinivas from
Okay, please welcome.
I'm really sorry I'm late.
Mr. Srinivas, I've already introduced you to the people, and you're one of the most sought after person here. Okay. Next. And these are the shipyards coming all along the coast. There's almost 22,000 crores of investment which is planned across the coastline, Indian coastline. And these are the developers who are talking. And I'm sure this actual numbers are much more. And there are a lot of people who are not in this list, but they are planning. But these are the announced ones. Yeah. And shipping, of course, there is a huge investment required. And Kulkarni is here. He will dwell more on that in terms of even for the replacement part of our fleet, we will require a huge investment for our shipping industry. These are the recent private equity deals which have happened in the maritime sector and maritime and logistics sector. So we try to just list them out and the size and who are the people who have done it, which companies, which dates and months, whatever we could get. So there is a large interest of private sector, private equity investments in this particular area. Okay, so this is a very short slide. I would like each of the panelists to really talk about what do they feel about the maritime sector and its growth imperatives, and how do we combine various stakeholders onto one common platform and make sure that the growth is accelerated and it's a win-win situation. It seems odd that many times environmentalists are at odds with the investors, the government is, and there is a lot of confusion, and the projects get delayed, there is excessive investment which comes. So I would like to start from Mr. Srinivas, what is their perspective. I'm sure we are looking at human development and in a more encompassing manner. So they are at a global level and they work with wide variety of governments and local bodies, and the maritime sector in India is in a takeoff stage, like the way telecom was around 15 years back. That's the way we look at it. So how do they think, and how do you think we can create that inclusive growth and sustainable growth for?
At the outset, I would like to apologize for coming in late. Straight on to the topic. One thing I would like to, sort of a misconception that most people have, that environmentalists are anti-development. I would like to straight off say that most of us, especially Greenpeace, are pro-development. All that we are saying is that we need to find a balance, harmony between ensuring that there is no environmental destabilization, so to speak, while at the same time try and see if we can get our development objectives, while keeping the development objectives as a prime. Now, most often than not, what happens is that in most of these development processes, environmentalists or local people are not involved. And even if they are involved in